For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Jerrod Carmichael would make an appearance on The Breakfast Club just days after receiving Donkey of the Day. Carmichael has been in the news lately to promote his new HBO series, Jerrod Carmichael Reality Show. On this press run, Carmichael has made headlines for a number of reasons, including his past criticism of Dave Chappelle's comedy. Now, if you remember back in 2022, fresh off the release of his HBO special, Rothaniel, where he would come out, he had this to say regarding Chappelle's latest choice of jokes. Chappelle, do you know what comes up when you Google your name, bro? That's the legacy. Your legacy is a bunch of opinions on trans-ish. It's an odd hill to die on. And it's like, hey, bro, who the F are you? Who do you F? What do you like to do? Now, just less than 2 years later, Carmichael would expound upon his original comments in an interview with Esquire, where he said Chappelle allegedly did not take his words well. While on The Breakfast Club, Carmichael would publicly apologize to Dave Chappelle for sharing his thoughts and criticizing another comedian. In addition to that, Carmichael was asked by co-host of The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, if he thinks comedians should publicly criticize other comedians regarding the content on the joke. This would be in reference to Jerrod speaking out against Chappelle's trans jokes, only for Jerrod himself to be criticized for telling a joke that uses slavery as a punchline. Today we'll have our Comedy Hype analyst Danielle Miller on the show to talk about our reactions to Jerrod Carmichael publicly apologizing to Dave Chappelle on The Breakfast Club. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I deeply regret ever saying anything about Dave Chappelle to the press. I want to say that I'm sorry for that. I love Dave. Like, I think he's brilliant. I think he's a bright light in a dying industry. Dave Chappelle is an artist. He's one of the few artists that we have, and I care deeply about the work that he makes. The criticism that I had nothing to do with the morality of the joke. That's something that's also been misreported. The criticism I had was that of a fan. I want him to focus his genius on a wide range of topics. I think that it started being really, really focused on one thing.
I disagree. That's like us saying that about the slave joke.
I'll say this. That joke works if I had a black boyfriend. My boyfriend were black. That joke actually works better if I had a black boyfriend.
And you the slave and the white person is the slave. I'm from North Carolina, where know the first anti-literacy laws were created in North and South Carolina.
Sure, that's not my role as a comedian to start getting into like literacy laws and stuff like that. You've completely lost it. And because I've talked about Dave a lot, I don't want to talk about Dave anymore. From now on, any thoughts I have for Dave will be directed in a phone call to Dave. I'll never do it again.
Danielle, I want to break this down and hopefully we can kind of compartmentalize this because I know it's a lot in itself and it's easy to kind of combine everything. But first, we would hear Carmichael, we would see that Carmichael said that, Chappelle owes him an apology. And at first it seemed like we weren't going to get that, but now we have it. What's your thoughts on the apology? And do you think Chappelle bullied him into this apology?
Y'all see, I had to sit down, right? Because I was really trying to digest everything that he was saying. And first of all, let me start off by this. Charlamagne is very tropsy. You know exactly what he be doing. I don't know if y'all remember what tropsy means, but that means like he's spicy. He likes to spice things up. He's the devil's advocate. Tropsy. You thought the slave joke was gonna be funny. I don't know. It sounded like it wasn't funny to me. But with Dave, in terms of Dave, Dave doesn't say things that are, in my opinion, offensive because the trans community has embraced him. So if that community is embracing him, who are we to talk, And then furthermore, when he was talking about they need to hit the issues and do this and do that, it's comedy, dog. Like, it ain't that serious. It's comedy. We use comedy to get away from all of that. And what Dave does is he strategically talks about issues that affect all of us in a comedic way, and that's what makes him so artistic. But lay off, dog. That's the problem. The problem with the world today is not that, not people are getting beat. The problem is with comedy, why it's not evolving anymore. It's because people too sensitive. Like, get off it, dog.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely don't think that Dave Chappelle bullied him into this. I think anytime you criticize someone publicly, you need to apologize publicly too. So, him saying that Dave Chappelle told him like, oh, hey, you need to apologize publicly. I don't think that's bullying in my sense. Because, I would see some comments kind of say like, oh, Chappelle pushed him. But I also don't feel like it was sincere to me personally. I think he kind of got perspective when his jokes started getting backlash for the slave joke. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you tried to, in this interview, add the context to it and say like, oh, well, because it wasn't about sex, the joke wasn't about sex. It was about my white boyfriend and I, the reading dynamic and how I look at our relationship. Like Charlamagne said, it's still not a good joke. It's not a good joke. In no context, I don't care if it's about walking down the street, buying something from a store. It's not a good joke no matter the context. And I want to read a quote from Jerrod, and I think it's funny, and not funny like haha, but I think it's crazy for him to come at Chappelle the way that he did, and now he's getting this perspective because he said, so much of comedy is just gay jokes. As long as people continue to laugh at it and mock it, and as long as it's a punchline, it's gonna be scary for somebody. It's scary for me. So for somebody to feel that way about, because he's come out gay and how he feels about gay jokes, but to be black and you don't feel the same way about slavery jokes, that's just wild to me. It's wild to me. And even hearing him say, no, because Charlamagne asked that question, and before Charlamagne did, I was thinking the same thing, like, you just got perspective, huh? He was like, oh no, that's not the reason why. It's like, no, you're telling a lie. That is the reason why. That had absolutely something to do with it. But I want to play the joke really quick, Danielle, because I want to get your thoughts on it and looking at it, fresh. So let's take a look at this clip really quick, and we'll be right back.
I sometimes joke that like our relationship is like a slave and the master's son who like teaches me how to read by candlelight. Yeah, he groans too. He doesn't like that fucking joke. I like that joke. That's my burden. I think that shit's hilarious.
So let me just ask you, Danielle, because I don't think it was clear in the interview of why he's apologizing, right? Why, in your opinion, from all the things we've seen come out, why do you think he's apologizing now? Why do you think he, this was the time that he chose to apologize?
Yeah, I know. Must be people are just I don't get it. Sometimes people be looking for sound bites. I don't want to give an indefinite answer right now because I'll be honest, this is the first time that I'm hearing the joke. I laugh. So I think sometimes people be like looking for, you never know. It could be a sound bite. It could be trying to spicy up the interview. I just don't know, but I laugh at the joke. I laugh. I didn't laugh. So.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, for me, I can't say that. It just seems like he was dancing in the interview with, Charlamagne, and I love that Charlamagne was able to challenge him and, stand his ground and say, hey, I still don't think it's a good joke. Are you here to apologize because now you have perspective? Personally, for me, I do feel like things have been put in perspective for him. I think I can, definitely say that and be confident in that. But it did feel like he was just like dancing around. And I think he just kind of got a wake up call of like, oh, wait, this is what it feels like. Okay, hey, you know what? I don't like the feeling of this. So let me not project that out into the comedy space, and I think a great question that Charlamagne also asked, and we've asked here on the platform many times, should a comedian criticize another comedian? Like if this is your art and you understand what goes on, to produce it, should we criticize? Should those comedians criticize one another for the joke? So yeah, I don't think he made it clear. But
no, he also started to mention like DL doors and them starting to like bring up issues. That's why I say I don't know what was like. I don't get why he made the apology. I don't know. I think maybe if he does it again, then I'll have a clearer perspective on it as to say, okay, then yeah, really he is sorry and really he does feel the pressure of being on that stage and not maybe delivering a joke and you like you said projecting how you feel onto others. But for right now, it was just still too much of like what they doing, no, bro, the conversation is on you. It's on you. Focus on that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Danielle, because something I saw, of course, people are responding to this online. Something that I saw here is people talking about the differences of the energy of, when he was talking to the white press about the issue as opposed to, now being on the Breakfast Club and kind of, being challenged. Couple questions I'll ask, but I'll start with, do you think it's wrong to take black beef to white press or be comfortable to talk about it, whether you're, taking it to him yourself or whether you're just asked the question? Do you think it's wrong to do that in situations like these?
Due to the state of the community, I don't think you should take it to the white press. Because guess what? They don't talk to us for their beef. They barely come on our platform, if we being real. So I don't think you should. I think you should keep it cute and keep it pushing. Like, and I also don't think that you should even talk about like beef in general, honestly and truly. I think you should talk to that person on the side, one-on-one, and you all deal with your things, and then that's it. Mind you, the beef that's going on now in hip hop, I ain't gonna lie, it's entertaining to me, with all of that. But at the same time, I think if you have something to say to somebody, y'all know each other, or y'all could get to somebody you know each other, call each other up. Like really call each other up and talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen some people react to, hearing Carmichael say on the Breakfast Club, like, hey, well, I'm done talking about Dave Chappelle, with the energy of like, hey, I don't want to talk about it anymore, compared to when he was talking to the white presses. He was so open, to say those bold statements and say those things, as opposed to when he gets on the Breakfast Club, it's like, hey, I'm coming to say what I want to say, and then I'm cutting it off. So just hearing that energy, do you think it would have been received differently if the start of, the whole situation with Dave Chappelle and all these things, if he would have had the conversation in a room like the Breakfast Club, or with, on print, Essence, or even coming here to Comedy Hype, especially because it's about comedy, do you think it could have been received differently?
When he said he doesn't want to talk about Dave Chappelle anymore?
When all the beef started about, how he felt about Dave Chappelle, and, how he felt about the joke, and just the things of that happened in the beginning, do you think it would have been received differently if it was with, a black form?
I think he would have, from him, I think what happened in that room with the Breakfast Club is when you're in a room of your peers, you can't BS. So it sort of becomes intimidating. And I think that's it right there. He couldn't BS around it. As you can see, Charlamagne was just going at him with it. And he had to dance around in circles, and that's why he got agitated and said, I don't want to talk about Dave anymore. You were comfortable talking about it on other platforms because you know that the energy in itself was different. It wasn't a room of your peers. You could have get away with Kiki and ha-ha and with them. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I love, seeing them be able to have a constructive conversation, even though there was, a little bit of tension, of course, but being able to work through it. And that's, I think, the value of, us having our conversation in our spaces. Yes, we're going to challenge one another. Yes, we're going to hold each other accountable. But I think at the end of the day, it's all for, for the love of one another and being able to talk through it. So I love seeing that conversation play out. I do wish he wasn't as closed off, but kudos to the cast of the Breakfast Club, still pushing through, even though he was trying to, block him out. So I definitely appreciate you for chiming in with me on this topic. Before we head out, is there anything that you want to shout out that you have going on? Of course, I need to make my way to the Bahamas, apparently, because it's been
right. Y'all see the view? Hold on, let me give you a little bit of the view while nobody around.
Please.
So hold on. Y'all see it? Okay, that's a little bit of the view, but I am here today. It's a dear friend. I want to say honestly and truly, I don't want to say fan because he's been very supportive of me on the Comedy Hype journey and everything that I've done. He is an international chef here in the Bahamas. And I am at his place of business today because we had a story to do on him. And his place is, his name is called Simeon Hall. So thank you so much, Mr. Hall, for all of your encouraging words that you continue to push out there. We have Bahamians that support this platform. Let me tell you a lot. We have Bahamians that support this platform and go hard for this platform. So thank you so much. What I have going on here is our news, of course, entertainment and lifestyle reporting. You can check us out on ournewsbahamas.com, also Our News Bahamas on social media platforms. Then you can follow me on Instagram, DEA Miller. That's also the thing on Twitter. I still don't tweet much. Then on YouTube, it's Danielle, DENIELLE. Facebook, DENILE. And of course, every Tuesday, I'm here with the lovely Symphony Thompson. As she heard today, y'all, there are a lot of guys on here that have a crush on Symphony. So I am here every Tuesday with her, just soaking up all of her beauty and all of her radiance. And we are, I have to say it, one of the top platforms here on YouTube and streaming platforms. Comedy Hype. That's me.
I absolutely love it. And let me tell you, Danielle, over the weekend, I was in Florida. I had an event to host out there. It's near Orlando. And there was a couple of guys that came up to me about the girl that's from the Bahamas. Danielle, I like her. I love her perspective. She's so beautiful. So I'm honored to be here with you every Tuesday as well, as people love not only your beauty, but what you have to say on this platform. So thank you so much for always calling in and for the beautiful vibes and views that you bring as well. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Carmichael's apology? Do you think Chappelle forced him to apologize? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. We see y'all.
Oh, you feeling my shirt? Well, I'll tell you where I got it from, but it's a bit of a secret. Nah, it's the Hype Market, thehypemarket.com. This is where I get all my exclusive pieces from Black-owned to cool-owned brands. Every brand has a story, and you get a chance to figure out who and what you're spending your money on. I mean, they even have spaces for you to use. Come here. They even have tickets for events and exclusive joints just like this. Oh, now if you excuse me, they just dropped some new art, and I think it's time for me to add to my collection.